directors to order. Two housekeeping things. If you have your cell phone with you, we would appreciate if you would silence your cell phone during our meeting. Second thing is, if you wish to address the board tonight, there are citizens communication cards on the ledge. If you'd grab one of them and fill it out, get that to our city clerk. She can get that to me so we would have a record of you speaking tonight. At this time, we'll have our roll call.
Director Jewell.
Here.
Director Smith.
Here.
Director Roberts.
Here.
Assistant Mayor Harris.
Here.
Director Hollibush.
Here.
Director Brewer.
Here.
Mayor Brown.
Here. This time, we'll stand for our invocation and pledge of allegiance given by Director Brewer.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to watch over us as we govern this meeting, that we govern this meeting according to your will, not our will, Heavenly Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. At this time, we'll move right on into citizens communication time. Our first is Ms. Gamble.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. If you'd just come to the podium.
I am Israel Gamble. I reside at 611 Ferguson Street on College Hill. And that's a very short block. It's 3 houses in that block, from Bramble to Hayes. My neighbor next door drives a flatbed 18-wheeler loaded with freight. He parks it right beside my driveway, which goes basically to Hayes. The people in Hayes can't look north to get out. I can't look south to get out. I called the police 2 weeks ago. They came out and asked him to move it. He moved it. He came back Friday, parked it right there, loaded with freight. I called the police. He came out. He said, well, he only parked blocking your driveway. And I looked at the policeman and I said, well, I pay taxes too. I can't back out. I have to pray when I back out that I don't get hit. His truck takes up from my driveway to Hayes. And we've had complaints to Mr. Harris. And I don't understand, what is the ordinance for a flatbed 18-wheeler loaded with freight in a residential neighborhood?
Tyler, can we answer?
Yes, ma'am. They can't have that commercial vehicle on residentially zoned property. So if when that happens, you'll give Public Works a call, they'll send a code enforcement officer out there to address it. Now, the way that code enforcement has to address it is if they have to issue him a citation, then he goes before the judge, and the judge handles it from there. But code enforcement can issue a citation.
Okay, because the policeman told me, said, he can do it, and I said, no, that's not legal, I don't believe.
Yeah, that's
It's only
typically
a bad accident, I already see it.
yeah, that's typically a code enforcement issue. Police doesn't really
So I need to go
do
to
that.
code enforcement tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. But we'll go ahead and check into it tomorrow. Is it always there, or?
It's there from Friday to either Sunday evening or Monday morning. And
Okay.
it's loaded with freight. I have a picture of it. Assistant Mayor Harris has seen it. He's got complaints because the people that stop at the stop sign, they can't see to get out. They
Okay.
got to tip and pray and pray and pray. Ferguson is a very busy street.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
half of them speeding.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't believe the policeman said, well, it's legal. I said, just get back in your car and go on, because I know you don't know what you're talking about. I know it's not legal for a flatbed loaded with freight from the top to the bottom. I mean, it's like another house sitting on the city street. You can't see around it.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
We'll send code enforcement out there Friday to try to catch them.
okay,
Up.
well.
And Mayor.
Yes, Director
And
Harris.
she is correct. I did get one guy came by the house in reference to that, and got 2 other phone calls in reference to that, other than Miss Gamble there. And I did go by, and I did notice the 18, the flatbed 18-wheeler was there, so.
And I took a picture
What
of it.
she's saying is 100% correct.
So
Ma'am, what time Fridays is it there? I mean,
when I get in from work, I get up at 4 at Walmart. By the time I get home by 4:30, he's already parked.
Okay, but my point is, it's not during the daytime, so the staff is going to have to make a special effort to see him there, right?
Yes.
He's there Saturday and Sundays, Friday
He comes
night.
in Friday evening.
Okay, Tyler, how would we address that?
Well, first off, we'll send somebody by there at the end of the day, Friday, to try to catch someone. If we find that we're not able to catch them during business hours, we may send a notice through the mail to try to let them know he can't do that. If we can't get an improvement, we may have to go out after hours.
So there's no way PD could help us out on that during the
I'll talk.
week?
I'll
the
talk.
weekends?
I'll talk with Chief and see. I don't recall if PD has the. I'll have to look in the ordinances and see the enforcement for it. But there's some things that code enforcement are the ones responsible for issuing the citation and doesn't necessarily give that authority to the police. I'll have to get with Chief to see about that. But
There seems to be
if that's
some way
the case.
we ought to address this issue, that we could take care of things like this on the weekend when staff isn't available.
Right, yeah, we typically don't have that come up. But, yeah, I'll get with Chief and see if we can make that happen.
Hey, Tyler, I agree with Jewel, because I've had that situation before, but I was able to talk with the person that had the flatbed, and they went ahead and moved. But if our systems could communicate with each other, because ordinance should be enforceable, but yeah, if our processes can communicate with each other, we may be able to, to eliminate a lot of this.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lee Dale?
Hey, now Lee Dale Robinson. Seems like the meeting got off to a pretty good start. Everybody communicating and agreeing. I sure hope we keep going. Well, my biggest problem is back with Tri-State again. And I'm not gonna repeat it all over again about the noise and the smell, none of that. But my main concern right now is how Mr. Harris talked to the lady in his ward about her problem. I don't see Mr. Davis talk. I see all y'all talk to people about it in y'all ward. But it ain't no record nowhere around that I come up here that my ward leader ever had something to say pertaining to what we complain about. And my complaint today is, I'm speaking for my neighborhood, and I'm gonna ask him if he can't get more involved in what we got going on in our neighborhood, just like the other board he was on, we gonna ask the same thing, step down, cause we got somebody who wanna help in the Mountain Edition. That's my big complaint. I'm not finna sit here and name out 1,000 things, cause y'all done heard them before. But we need some help, and if he's not willing to do the job like the rest of y'all is about y'all ward, move back. We got somebody wanted. If I can legally say that, that's what I'm saying. We want some help. We want you to step up. You asked to be voted for and you got it. Do the job. Just that simple. If you can't do it, we got somebody wanted.
I address, anytime somebody calls me, I address their concerns.
I done been up here like 40 times. Have you ever raised a question up to help me up here? That's what I'm talking about. Have you addressed anything ever since I've been up
Are
here?
you talking about concerning Tri-State?
Yes.
So Tri-State, we have gone over that and over that and over that.
But I'm asking you, have you ever addressed anything pertaining to what I'm talking about Tri-State, since I've been coming up here?
Lee
You,
Dale, could we just stick to the point about
That's what
what you
I'm-
asked him
my
to
whole
do?
point
We're-
is-
we're not gonna sit up here tonight and argue back and forth between the
Okay.
ward members. All right, we can do that another place. We're not gonna do that in a meeting. That's
All right.
one reason that really involvement with citizens during communication time is not a proper and professional place to do it, in my opinion. So I would appreciate if we just get to the question and let's move on.
okay, my question was, can I ask him to step up, or can I bring people up here like they did on the other board?
You can bring anybody up here and ask him to resign, ask him to
Okay,
quit, do
that's all I'm
whatever.
asking now,
Sure you
that's all
can.
I wanna know. Okay, that's all I want, I'm not gonna bring up about what's going on, y'all know what's going on.
Blackwell. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, how y'all doing this evening?
Good.
My name is Lamoria Blackwell. I live at 2201 Pineview Street in Texarkana, Arkansas. And I had a few questions or just a few concerns with an ordinance that is on the table to be discussed tonight about the
food truck?
The food truck, yes,
Okay.
sir. One of my main concerns, because if you don't know, I'm a part of the WC4 that pretty much has the contract with the city to promote Front Street. We also do festivals. In there, my understanding and what I was trying to get clarity on is there is a fee that is there now that wasn't there previously for $50 for temporary vending. And I understand that that is supposed to be for vendors who do not have that pretty much aren't from Texarkana, who have not had, because I was getting clarity back there, so I'm trying to put it together, I'm sorry. But I initially thought it had to do with the $5 temporary fee that when Sunday Burley comes out and she inspects everybody that's out there, they pay a $5 fee, but that's to the health department. It has nothing to do with the city. And I was just, she just let me know that the $50 is a fee outside of the $250 because the ones who are local pay the $250. That's been the same. But if you have a special event, you have vendors who, a lot of our people are not local. They come from Little Rock or some will come from Dallas. And a lot of their trucks are already permitted to vend because this is what they do for a living. And with the $50 fee, kind of throws a curveball for us because we already charge a vending fee just to be out there and, to promote and all those things, but you have to do an additional $50 per event. And we have several events on the calendar already, and a lot of those trucks are permitted already, like I said, but this $50 fee is something new, and it's something that we have to take into consideration when we are setting those fees and understanding where that money goes or explaining to them why it's this much more than what it is, and it's just new, and we didn't know where it came from.
Tracy, do you want to answer that now? We want to wait till we get to the ordinance? Okay. So the process tonight will be that ordinance is on our agenda. For the ordinance to pass tonight, it would have to be read 3 times. It will get read on its first reading tonight. And if it were to get read 3 times prior to the board voting on that, there will be an opportunity to have those questions answered. There will be discussion when the Public Works presents that ordinance tonight. It'll be presented by Tracy Lee tonight. So when that comes up on the agenda, we can get you an answer.
Thank you so much.
Roger's going to do it. Roger Douglas is going to present that tonight. Anyone else wish to address the board? Anyone else? All right, if not, we'll move into our consent agenda. We have quite a few items on our consent agenda, 7 to be exact. Item number 1 is to approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of November the 3rd. Item number 2 is to adopt a resolution declaring Public Works equipment surplus and authorizing disposal in accordance with Arkansas law. Item number 3 is to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Lakewood Elevated Tank Contract number 1 for 500,000 gallon elevated water storage tank project. Adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to approve the change orders required for Nicks Creek Sewer Improvements Project. Adopt a resolution authorizing the purchase of equipment to outfit 7 police patrol vehicles with emergency lighting and 1 K9 kennel. Adopt a resolution authorizing the purchase of Motorola WatchGuard dash and rear seat cameras for 7 patrol units. And last, number 7, adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a construction contract with Contact Contractors, Inc. for the Bi-State Crime Lab and Offices Rebuild Project. What would be the desire of the board for the consent agenda?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the consent agenda passes. Moving on to our regular agenda, item number 8 is to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to pay the increased portion of the Municipal Health Benefit Fund premium for just the month of December. Sheena.
Mayor Brown, Board of Directors, we received the 2026 health insurance premiums, and there was a pretty significant increase to the premiums, 27% to be exact for the premium increase for employees. The increase for employee only was about $180 additional and about $402 for employee with family.
Monthly. It's monthly.
Yes,
Okay.
402 is an increase?
What was that percentage?
It was about
27.
27%. And we're working on putting the 2026 budget together right now, hopefully to have a rough draft for the next couple of weeks, in about Friday. So we are asking if the board would approve to pay the January increase of the health insurance premiums. It's about $52,000 for that increase.
That is to get us through budget process. We can't really do that without budget being approved. So this is the same thing we did last year, came and asked for 1 month for the city to pay the first month, and then work it out in our budget process.
I know
Will we
I'm,
be,
go right ahead.
will we be asked to cover the increase for the entire year, 2026?
We don't know exactly for sure yet. That's not finalized, but we'll propose to you something in the budget workshop, and y'all will have to discuss it. The increase is a very significant amount, but as you can imagine, a lot of our employees won't be able to afford $180 additional a month. So I do anticipate proposing the city cover some of that, but if not, our employees are going to have an extremely difficult time even paying for this insurance.
I know I may be getting ahead on this, but this is the same insurance that we have now.
It is.
Has it been shopped around?
Yes, sir. And the thing about, and this is happening across the entire state. It's not just us. And in the budget workshop, I'll give you some more information on why the increases. We've got 150% loss ratio.
Wasn't there approximately 3 million in claims and $1 million in premiums?
To
So
$2 million in
$2 million
premiums. Yeah, so it's a significant amount. There's some things that, mainly education to our employees, that we're going to make mandatory to try to get those claims down, to try to reduce those rates. But yes, we have looked elsewhere. The thing, municipal health is extremely cheap because AML subsidizes their fixed costs every year. So all of their administrative costs, none of that goes into their premiums that they charge us. So that's typically 20% right there. So the other insurance companies aren't typically able to compete with that. And we get a bunch of denials to quote, and we sat down and met with our JTS insurance guy that handles our municipal health and went over lots of different options. But the biggest thing for us at this point is education.
So this would be the same group that handles like the retiree insurance as well. But we don't negotiate the price on the retiree insurance. Okay, because I know it's
Right.
astronomical
Right.
what
yes,
theirs
sir.
has went up to.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Director Harris.
Do we, is the employees, should I say, do we still have a wellness program? And if we do, what's the status of it? And if we don't, why don't we have it?
The wellness program as of right now, we do not have one. As far as the status of the wellness program going forward, that would be something that the personnel department would handle. We are looking into starting a wellness program. When we sat down and met with the insurance a couple weeks ago, we did talk about the wellness program, and municipal health has a few options that we can use. I don't have any details on what the wellness program would look like at this time.
We're
That's
s-
why I brought that up, because that came up maybe 2 years ago, but I don't think, and I guess you heard her answer, so I'll just leave it at that.
The wellness programs, it's more so to educate your employees and incentivize healthier habits. They don't offer any kind of discount for those, to have those programs. Ultimately, it's reflected in your claims. So you get your claims down, you can reduce your rates, which we do plan on doing a lot of that.
I have a big question. I've been on the board since 2018, and I've noticed the premiums keep going up every year, what have you. So my question is, what are we putting in place to try to put something in place so that those premiums, some type of internal audit that we can put in place for ourselves, that we're not constantly having the same claims over and over? And I noticed the claims are increasing every year. Every year. We haven't seen a year that is just is marginal or it goes back and fall at a decrease. It's constantly increasing. Not sure if it's work habits or is there anything that you see that you can put in place to try to
Yes,
decrease these claims?
and that's what we're doing. The first part of that is these educational meetings that are going to be mandatory for all employees. A big part of that, and we're not alone in this, Texas side had over 190% loss ratio, so they were in even worse shape than we were. But there'll be other things with the educational meetings, but one reason claims are skyrocketing are the standalone emergency centers. Back in 2022, Arkansas passed the No Surprise Billing Act, which was meant to get a handle on the outrageous bills folks would see from the emergency room. But it had some unintended consequences where now it's just all billed to the insurance companies, and when there's a dispute between the amount billed and what insurance is willing to pay out of network, it goes to a federal mediator, and these mediators have just been siding with the providers for the most part. So the emergency rooms are getting that full amount that they're billing for.
Let me ask you this right here. Like some of the training and education, would that be comprised of like ergonomic training, the causes and the roots of what's actually happening on the ground, that we could really put a finger on what's actually happening that's causing these claims?
It's going to include why our claims are so high. It's going to include some education on these standalone emergency centers. It's going to include a couple of different programs that can be offered to lower some prescription costs. It's going to include, yes, some of the healthy habit training type thing. It's going to be all-encompassing.
All right. Yeah, I just remember when I was doing internal auditing, when I was working out at Cooper Tire, a lot of the processes, the unsafe processes that some of the workers was doing could cause it, plus or minus or what have you. Just want to make sure we're putting everything into the workforce, the labor force, to try to navigate the
Absolutely, yeah.
decrease the
Are the
process.
employees able to negotiate their rates down? Because I know when people that are uninsured go, the hospital will reduce the rates if the people can pay. Is there any
The
where
problem,
we can negotiate what they're paying for healthcare?
you talking about negotiate with the insurance company, what they're paying the
With the
providers? Or the problem is, those bills aren't going to our employees. Those bills are going to the insurance company. So they bill as much as possible to the insurance company and collect off of them, which in turn raises our claims and our loss ratio and increases our premiums. So that's a big thing that a lot of employees don't understand, which is news to me as well. Once we received these increases, we started doing some more digging. But, you may go to a standalone emergency center and they may charge a city employee just a very small amount, but the amount that's going to insurance is just outrageous.
Tyler, are we looking at having a workshop for insurance and then budget? I mean, there'll be two separate workshops.
We were planning on doing it together. If y'all would rather do that completely separate, that's perfectly
I
fine.
definitely want to understand start to finish on this because I know a lot of employees are going to have questions. I know they'll come to y'all. They're eventually probably going to come to us. And I mean, I want to be able to explain to them verbatim, this is why. I mean,
You're right. It may be a good idea to
Yes.
separate those workshops. So yeah, we'll do a workshop on the insurance before we do the budget workshop. We're planning right now budget workshop somewhere around the 9th, and board adopting the budget on the 15th meeting. But we'll see if we can't get an insurance workshop in there the first week of December. I know Sheena won't be here that week, but Skylar will be. She handles the insurance portion anyways. And of course, I'll be there. So, yeah, we'll set that up.
Sounds good.
I got one question.
All right.
Has the number of claims, pardon me, increased significantly?
Not significantly, but the claim amounts, yes.
Oh, okay.
But the number, no. So just to
So-
put into perspective for you, our insurance rep gave us one example of an in-network emergency room and an out-of-network emergency room. So like St. Michael's is in-network. For nearly 40 hours of observation, the insurance was billed at $69 an hour. That total bill for that visit was like $7,000. For half that amount of time at one of the standalone emergency centers, for about 18 hours of observation, it was billed at $1,500 per hour instead of $69 per hour, and that total bill was $70,000.
Wow.
I'm gonna ask one question, and I promise I'm gonna shut up. But the federal ACA tax cuts that have not been extended, if they end up getting extended, could this go back and lower our premiums?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that for you. I couldn't answer that. Do you know, Sheena? I'd have to
Because,
look
I mean,
into
I
it.
think there's a high possibility that may happen, and I mean, you know, I know we got a former insurance guy down there, but, you know, sometimes, we gotta.
Two of us.
Oh, bless you. I mean, they shouldn't keep all the profits here, you know, let's get something back to help our employees if that does happen. So, I mean, if that's something somebody can ask that's smarter.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, sir. We will ask that question.
Any other questions for Sheena?
Do we know how, are these rates compared to the ACA marketplace?
I look just as personally, and these rates are better than the marketplace right now.
Like significantly better, or is it,
Just for what I believe, single for us, all in, I think it's about,
The new rate,
uh,
$841.
$841, the comparable rate, on the marketplace, if you're not paying, or if you're not getting a credit, you're gonna at least pay $600 a month. And right now, our employees aren't paying that, they pay $36.
Any other questions?
I got one.
Okay.
I guess, basically what you're gonna be telling our employees, go to Watley or St. Michael Emergency Room, they're going to emergency care, from what I'm understanding. I know I'm calling out the name of the, of the business, but basically, that's what I'm hearing, to make a long story short.
The goal of the workshop will be to educate the employees
Well,
on.
that's what I
where to
got.
go and how to proceed. If it's not a emergency, what we're trying to do is let employees know, you can go to urgent care, there are things that you can do besides driving into the standalone emergency centers, which are causing our rates to go.
Yeah, if you got a cut or a bruise, I'll give y'all
Right.
my address. I'll be a lot cheaper than they will, I promise you.
Any other questions? If not, I'd instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the City of Texarkana, Arkansas is a participating member of the Municipal Health Benefit Fund, and whereas the city has received official notice that the MHBF of a premium rate increase effective January 1st, 2026, and whereas the monthly premium for employee-only coverage will increase from $662.50 to $841.71, an increase of $179.21, and the premium for employee plus family coverage will increase from $1,485.50 to $1,887.33, an increase of $401.83. And whereas the city manager is requesting board approval to remit $52,452.83 to cover 1 month of employee health insurance premiums for January 2026. And whereas because this payment must be made before the fiscal year 2026 budget is finalized, covering the increase for 1 month will allow the city manager and board of directors additional time to review the completed fiscal year 2026 budget and determine the appropriate level of the city's ongoing contribution toward the increased insurance costs. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the city manager is authorized to remit $52,452.83 to cover the January 2026 health insurance premiums for the purposes set forth above, pass and approve the 17th day of November 2025.
City attorney's read the resolution, the desire of the board.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Could you call the roll?
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollebush,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes, the resolution passes. Moving along to item number 9, to adopt an ordinance granting the limited franchise for David Boone Ministries Incorporated for the non-exclusive right and privilege to use and occupy the public right-of-way for the operation of a parking lot located at 1800 Dudley Street. Tracy.
Good evening, Mayor Brown, Board of Directors. Pastor Boone is actually having issues with parking for his elderly. He feels some areas of the building are a little bit unsafe, so he wanted to utilize the city right-of-way off of Kearney Street to the west of his building.
We have no other issues, and I've read in there he's responsible for his own cost and the whole 9 yards, and
Correct. He'll be responsible for all of that. He is aware that there's a gas line that runs along that area, and so he understands that the gas company at any time can come in if they need to fix that line. So he's aware of all of that. He knows it's all permits.
Does anybody have any questions of Tracy? I remind you that this is an ordinance with no other questions. Yes, sir, Director Harris.
That, I guess that street right there by Kirby Street, and there's a drainage, or should I say a lack of a drainage there. What's gonna be done about that? That you got a little concrete curb there, then the street right beside there, I know this is on, about 20 feet over, but if you look at that street is about, extra, 3 to 4 inches high because you gotta keep piling up, asphalt on it right there, right beside that street. In other words, that street there should have been, repaired because the street is about 3 or 4 inches high right beside that building there.
Well, the contract actually states in there that all the plans and construction has to be approved by the city. So if there's any drainage that needs to be done, the city engineer.
But I don't think that need to go against, Pastor Boone. I think that need to be city, because I brought that up long before he even thought about putting a parking lot there. That been brought up almost maybe 2 years ago, which get into another issue, you know. Like most time when I bring up something, it's normally a year or 2 years out before the city fix it, so.
We went in there and addressed that drainage when Pastor Boone was opening that facility. That's been over a year ago. That's been quite a while back. But that drainage is further to the south than that parking lot there.
Yeah, it is. I say it's a little concrete curb, or well, I say a little, what?
Gutter?
Gutter or ditch or something, whatever you want to call it, midway down on the building there, but the dirt is, well, I'm assuming he gonna clear all that dirt away when he do the sidewalk there. But I'm also saying it would look even nicer if you was to fix the street there too.
Tracy, is the building that's going up and down or long ways, which one is the old sanctuary? The
I think
The up and down,
up and down?
I believe so.
You know,
Okay, so that would be the old classroom wing that's going across?
yes.
Okay, I'm with you.
Any other questions for Tracy?
One question.
Director Brewer.
Tracy, there with the pink rectangle there,
That is where the parking lot.
that's what, that's a,
I know where that is then.
that's east and west. Okay, are there any residents behind there? Did anyone behind there object or anything?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, thanks.
Director Jewell.
Any provision in this contract relieving the city of any liability?
It is included in the agreement that he will sign, a whole harmless agreement.
That's another document that we're not seeing, right?
Yes.
Section 5 of the ordinance addresses that. Any other questions? If not, I would instruct the city attorney to have the ordinance read on its first reading in title form.
An ordinance granting a limited franchise to David Boone Ministries Incorporated for the non-exclusive right and privilege to use and occupy a portion of the public right-of-way for the operation of a parking lot, for declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Ordinance has been read on its first reading. The desire to have it read on its second reading tonight.
Second reading, abbreviated form, please.
Second.
Let's have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Could you call the roll?
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollebush,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
An ordinance granting a limited franchise to David Boone Ministries Incorporated for the non-exclusive right and privilege to use and occupy a portion of the public right-of-way for the operation of a parking lot, for declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Ordinance has been read on its second reading. Desire to have it read on its third and final reading.
Third reading, abbreviated form.
Second.
Motion and a second to have it read on its third reading. Any other discussion? Could you call the roll?
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollebush,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
An ordinance granting a limited franchise to David Boone Ministries Incorporated for the non-exclusive right and privilege to use and occupy a portion of the public right-of-way for the operation of a parking lot, for declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Ordinance has been read on its third and final reading. A motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Let's have a motion and a second to adopt. Prior to the board voting to adopt this particular ordinance, is there anyone here wishing to speak for or against? Seeing and hearing none, could you call the roll?
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollebush,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes, and the ordinance is adopted. David Boone Ministries has asked for an emergency clause. What would be the desire to attach?
Motion to attach emergency clause.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Could you call the roll?
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollebush,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes, the emergency clause is attached. Moving on to our last item on our agenda tonight, under our regular agenda, item number 10, is to adopt an ordinance to amend ordinance 12-2018 to add regulations pertaining to individual mobile food vendors operating outside of a mobile food vendor event and/or a mobile food vendor court. Roger.
In 2018, this ordinance was written. It was kind of written in a hurry so that we could have food. That's what we had. And it was originally written thinking that it was going to be food for Kenya, before everything was ready. And things have evolved, and people are using food trucks all the time. So the reason we want to change this is to facilitate working with people that don't have one anywhere they want one. We tried to clean up some language in it, and the $50 that, she was talking about earlier was for the reason that was put in there, the annual permit fee is $250. If you just wanted to come for one thing this year, a $50 fee for a temporary day was what that's put in there for.
So you're, each one of them pay a $250 annual fee anyway, but you don't have to pay that if you were only going to do like an event, you could just pay 50?
That's what it was put in there for.
Do you get the, do you get the, fif-
So
do
if
you
you
get the
have
50
your-
waived if you pay the $250?
Do what?
Do you get the 50 waived if you pay the $250?
Well, if you're, say, if you're gonna set your food truck up in the city all year long, pay the $250, but if you were coming for one event,
Uh-huh.
it was the only thing you were coming down here for, rather than have to pay $250, you just pay $50 for a temporary.
So if you have the $250 fee, you do not pay an additional $50 to
No.
put in any other event?
No.
Hey, can you, I've read this, and just to be clear, why, first of all, this does not go before the planning commission, and second of all, who all was involved in the planning process of this ordinance?
This was,
I know the fire department was involved, the health department was involved.
what we try to do is take less of the stands on the trucks, because there's certain things they have to do for the state permit to be legal. The fire department, what they have to do in there, the fire department, and protection of water utilities, where they just take it. So, in our thinking, that's enough government in it already. So we were just trying to get it as simple as we could and take out all the stuff that wasn't necessary.
But all those entities were involved in what was before us tonight, the proposed ordinance. Director Harris.
What you just said, why didn't you put that in the ordinance? That if you don't have a 200, if you ain't paid the $250 prior to you come to an event, and this only apply to, I guess, as the city attorney, I'm assuming he the one that wrote this, or did you write this ordinance?
No.
You did? Okay.
It's
Well,
actually,
how does this get
there's actually
before?
2 points in there. One of
It
them
is. I agree, I see it.
food under permit application.
You can get an annual permit fee on item number 3, yeah, I see that.
The temporary permit is item.
Well, make a long story short, what is the changes in here versus the changes that what was before? Why this didn't become before us as to these the changes, and this was gonna be before? And if I'm not mistaken, when we had that workshop the other day, I tried to bring this something up about the food truck, but I think, if I could be corrected wrong, I think Tyler, the city manager, basically say we're not getting into that. I could be wrong. Did you say something to that effect? We wasn't finna discuss
The-
food truck?
The workshop was for the entertainment district. It had nothing to do with food trucks.
But this don't have nothing with the food trucks that's down in entertainment district?
It's got to do with food trucks that are citywide.
So, the way we're operating
Go ahead
now,
and answer my- go ahead and
I'm
answer
sorry.
my question.
Director Harris has the floor.
Okay, he said why it didn't, that, but who did this then, if this didn't go to the city attorney?
well, let me clarify that. It did come through me,
Uh-huh.
and I reviewed it to put it in this ordinance.
Uh-huh.
But I did not just create it out of thin air.
Okay, but what was the changes prior to we getting to this point? That's what I'm getting at. What
The-
is the changes
Set up
be?
originally as a food court venue,
Mhm.
and we don't really have a food court venue. They have some events, but we don't really have a food court venue anymore.
But that's not
Never
really.
materialized.
What I'm getting at, just say for instance, you may have a purpose. Okay, if this purpose of this ordinance, purpose of this selection is to, okay, if this wasn't in this original, then you will underline this and say this is being added. That's what I'm getting at.
You're saying you don't see the changes in it?
No, no,
It's citywide.
okay.
So the previous ordinance in 2018 had the same provisions, but it was only limited to a food vendor court. Like if we say, some places have those where it's just food trucks or food trailers there. It did not say anything about trucks anywhere else.
It
If
wouldn't
somebody
apply
sets
if
up
you were
in
not.
AutoZone parking lot, that's not a food truck court.
Okay.
And so this applies to everybody, whether you're on the corner of Arkansas Boulevard or, down here at the Tracy Lawrence concert. It just encompasses everything. That's the difference.
And it states something about 20 feet, so how is that?
That was added to this. So the big change was applying this citywide instead of just for food court venues or events. Another change was that mobile food vendors may not operate closer than 20 feet to a public street or other structure.
Then my other.
That regulation was added.
Okay, my other concern, was it in here that you get final say-so on the issue, if, for instance, if the, Public Works Director, Mr. Douglas, denies somebody, take somebody, tell them they can't do this, then they have to appeal to you, then they appeal to you as final?
That is,
They can always appeal to circuit court.
Huh?
They can always appeal to circuit court.
You don't have that in here.
It's not in any of our ordinances.
It is in some
Yeah.
laws.
And this has been in, that part's been in there since, it was passed in 2018. That part didn't change.
But I don't know if I voted for it in 2018.
I've got a couple questions if you're done, Director
Yeah,
Harris.
go ahead.
In the current ordinance, there's a commissary permit of $150. Did we ever collect that? Because it was removed from this revision.
No, they're not using anything for commissary, they make a deal with revenue. And that's where they,
So they work out their own commissary and,
yes, there's no commissary, we do away with all that. Nobody ever used it.
and on number 8, it says mobile food truck vendors may operate on any property zone, may not operate on any property zone residential and must have written permission from the property owner of the property on which the mobile food vendor is operating. It's a little confusing because it says you can't operate
You can't
in residential,
operate in a
but then you,
residential district. Anywhere you go, it's a commercial district or where, that you got to have the owner's permission.
so this says may not operate on any property zone residential.
Right.
And then it says you must have written permission.
For commercial property. It doesn't.
It doesn't specify commercial property. That's why it's a little bit confusing on that, or unclear.
It must not operate on any property zone residential, and must have written permission from the property owner of the property in which the mobile food vendor is operating.
I see what you're
To
saying.
me, that should almost be two separate statements.
I see what you're saying.
It's a little unclear. It's like, I'm saying you can't do this, but if you do this, you gotta get permission.
The intent was
Yeah, no, I understand. And on the $50 fee, so currently, we're not collecting anything from somebody who's here for a single event. If code enforcement happened to go out on a Friday, or if somebody called and said, hey, there's a food truck out here, come make sure they've got their permit, are we charging them $250 for that single event if we catch them without a permit?
No, if it's, the way it's been done, if it's something that they've got a food court venue set up for, the state goes down and checks everybody to make sure that they're permitted and stuff. And we've never had, the $50 was put in there, say, if you are licensed in Texas, but you wanted to come over here one weekend, you know, there's a big festival or something, you wanted to come over here and set up a food truck, just for that one weekend, the only time you're gonna do it, then that would be $200 cheaper than buying a year-long license.
Is that typical of other cities? Because I know every city, they want to get their piece when people are doing things. But is that,
Most of it's a little higher than that, but,
It's done in effort to save them $200, correct?
yeah.
I mean,
It wasn't, toward his effort.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
It was just to try to save people money, they just want to come for a single event.
Got anything to
so,
say?
I got one more thing. On the hours of operation, I know that was in the original ordinance, and those haven't changed. They're still 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., and then midnight with permission. Is there any way or that we could remove that or change those hours, make it more lenient? Because that would be essentially like telling IHOP, you have to close at midnight. I mean, they're a food venue as well. So is there any reason to limit the hours on food truck operations?
That would be up to the board, whether you wanted to move forward with these times or amend them. These are the same times that were in there as before, that'd be up to y'all.
Couple more. And so a lot of food truck events are happening on the weekends. And I know the ones that are following the law, they're paying the permit fees, they're, doing everything that they're supposed to operate within the city. And then there's some who are not. Is there any enforcement mechanism? I mean, do we have code enforcement that goes out on the weekends, or are we tracking to see when these things are taking place?
The state says. They know something about it.
But if it's not an event or a festival, then it's not on their radar either.
They stay pretty in tune with these food trucks. I mean, Mrs. Brayley is normally really on top of them.
Okay. And I know that for all of our restaurants and hotels, they collect and remit the AMP tax. Is there anything, because I know that when we give them a CO, they're given a letter that explains all of that and that they're supposed to collect and remit it. Do food trucks, are they even aware of that?
They have to provide proof that they've registered with Finance Department for that AMP tax before we issue the permit.
Director Brewer. Yes, I see two things right here. Just want to make sure we're tracking here. The first thing, as Holly Bush was pointing out, that it might be just a small messaging error, for an interpretation. That's something we may need to table to get that corrected. And also, earlier it was mentioned that protocol may not have been pushed forward, that the Planning Commission did not get a chance to take a look at this. Is that correct?
It's not in the zoning chapter. It doesn't have to go before the Planning Commission.
All right, thanks for the clarification. All right, what about the messaging error? Is that something we need to amend or take this back and fix those grammatical?
My preference would be to table it and have, some conversation in a workshop maybe. Maybe get some input from our vendors that are in town.
I think
So-
Attorney Potter got some. I'm finished, Attorney Potter knows what it is.
So do we have a motion to table?
Well, wait a minute, what's our concern with it right now? How many issues we have with it?
Hours, clarity, the fees.
If you want number 8 amended, then it should probably be tabled.
Okay.
What is
That's not something that we can do right now.
It's just to make 8 on the 4th page, bottom of page 4, more clear.
Right, that's it. We just tell them to make
I'll make a motion to table.
just make it the sentence more clear.
So I have a motion on the floor to table.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to table. So we have a motion and a second on the floor to table. Could you call the roll?
Director Jewell,
No.
Director Smith,
No.
Director Roberts,
No.
Assistant Mayor Harris,
Well, I guess, yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes. So that's 4. So it's 4 votes, so the item is tabled until the next meeting. It'll move to our next meeting.
May I?
Yes. Yes.
You plan on having a workshop on this, or you gonna get input from the board about it, or what?
I might add, we're getting a lot of workshops here in December, and
I don't feel like
this
there's...
is a simple thing that just a little bit of discussion would take care of this.
Need a workshop for this.
Yeah.
I think Attorney Potter, do we need a workshop to fix that wording?
We do not need a workshop to finish that work.
I don't.
But there's discussion
Yeah,
about
it's
changing
clear.
the hours, there's discussion about a number of things to try to get enough votes, in my opinion, to pass it. You could have a workshop prior to the next board meeting it's going to automatically go to, for its, it got tabled, it'll go to the next agenda for a first reading at the next meeting without being tabled again. So there would be plenty of time to maybe have something right before the board meeting. And there are several, I see Freddie, I see some other people, I see some food truck people here. And if you have some input or something, then you can contact Public Works or contact a board member about your concerns if you've had an opportunity to read the ordinance. But basically, we're not changing a number of things that were already previously in the ordinance outside of making it citywide. There's a discussion item brought up by Director Hollybush about the potential hours. That would be something y'all might be concerned about or not concerned about. And then the last thing would be the clarification of that. And then there would be, to clarify that it's a $250 annual fee if you're going to operate in the city the entire year. If you want to come to one event, you could simply pay $50. So that would be that. So that would be, in my opinion, something we might could handle right before the next board meeting at 5 instead of at 6, which, by the way, I'll mention this again at the end of the meeting. Our meeting will not be Monday, December the 1st. It will be Tuesday, December the 2nd, due to the Christmas parade. But there is a motion and there's 4 votes. It is tabled. My suggestion would be to maybe add this to the agenda as a workshop prior to the board meeting. And if you want to try to throw in a double whammy and try to have the health insurance workshop before the board meeting as well, you could do that. When our budget workshop would be held you can meet an hour before and maybe discuss both for about 30 minutes. You can meet at 4:30 maybe and have them both discussed before 6. It'd be up to the city as to how we
Is
would do
there
it.
a big hurry on getting this done? I mean, we don't have to squeeze everything into December. I mean, is there any reason not to push this to the first of the year? I mean, there was an emergency clause, but I'm not sure why that was requested.
Is this detrimental to is it detrimental to the food truck owners?
Is there a food truck owner present?
Several.
You have thoughts to add?
Yeah, I operate the South Bar. I don't think y'all should control my hours. I should be able to open as long as that bar is open, I should be able to get. I'm not downtown, I'm on Highway 67, but I should have to close at 12 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and the bar still stays open. They buying food. That's my opinion.
Freddie, you agree with that?
Yeah, that's my concern too. Like we have an event that's coming up on the 28th, and I've already paid to, be on that venue. But if they talk about shutting it down at 10 or putting some hours on it, I don't think that's right. Because, we pay taxes just like everybody else down in the entertainment district. I think that we should be open. Because people are buying food, and, I think that that's, something that y'all should look at to say, well, if this establishment closes at 2, okay, that's fine. We should be able to have to close at 2, but saying 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and see, I work a full-time job, and I'm only available on the weekends, like 9 to, 12 or 2 midnight or whatever. But, that's just my concern about the operating hours, that if down in the entertainment district, if the venue is still open, we should be able to still allowed to sell food because we pay taxes just like everybody else. On the 20th of every month, I pay my A&P taxes, and I think that's only right for us to be able to operate within those hours.
Roger, if we don't do anything, say like till the first of the year, will they be able to just continue, to operating till like the event closes?
Those times have been in the original ordinance, we've never really enforced it.
Yeah, there were no time changes with this ordinance. It was always 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. It hasn't been enforced. But the original ordinance also didn't address individual food trucks. It only addressed food truck courts and food truck events.
Well, do we need to give them some type of variance until we have a workshop? Because I don't want to be rushed through all this. That way they can stay.
We're not
We're
enforcing anything
Okay.
right now except for the permit.
Okay, yeah.
Freddie, you got a baby at home. You can't stay up to no 2 a.m.
Man got
There you go.
Any other discussion? All right, we'll move on to Board of Directors commentary. Is there any board member that wishes to address the board?
I guess
Director Harris.
Yes, there's a bond issue going on, and I guess I'm going, I know y'all seen some posts posted on Facebook about this in regarding to a letter I guess I sent to the city manager. And part of, my latest post, I put on there by Sixth Street cost. You know, Sixth Street had costed $535 bond issue, and I did put on there that it was Mayor Allen Brown Church Street and other streets in Ward 2 next to a church, and the dollar amount. And I put Hayes Street, and you got the Greater College Hill Church of God in Christ, and it's zero amount. I put Rose Street, it's zero amount, it's College Hill Missionary Church. I put Rose again, and it's zero amount, it's Landmark Baptist Church. I put William Taylor Street, and the zero amount is Park Avenue Baptist Church. I put Seaver Street, it's another on the side of Park Avenue Baptist Church, zero amount. I put Washington Street, zero amount with Grace and Murray IHP. I put Mary Street, it's zero amount, College Hill Missionary Baptist Church. I put Cleveland Street, it's Hall United Methodist Church, zero amount. I put Delaware Street, you got St. James Baptist Church, and it's zero amount. And Delaware again, and it's Bright Star Baptist Church, and it's zero amount. Why did you keep playing that?
I was trying to get that thing turned
Are
on.
you trying to interrupt my speaking?
Oh, no.
Delaware Street.
I just lean over and point.
Okay. Delaware Street, and it's zero amount, you got Bright Star Baptist Church. Graham Street, you got zero amount, it's Grace and Murray, COIG Church. You got Lincoln Street, where there was a church, but I don't think it's being utilized, no. You got Cherry Street, and I think it's Lighthouse, that's the side of it. I guess it's used as, you got Pleasant Street, it's zero amount, it's by Faith Minister. You got Couch Street, it's Grace Community Baptist Church, and that's zero amount. You got Marietta Street, and it's zero amount, you got Grace Community Baptist Church. You got Vernell Street, and you got Landmark Baptist Church, and that's zero amount. You got Ferguson Street, and you got New Birth Ministry, and that's zero amount. And you got Kirby Street, which side on David Boone Ministry on the side of it. And that, and my concern is that, you know, you said that you was done after a study that we paid $34,000 for, which I said, and I'm saying it again, all the study that, since I've been on this board, been biased to the poor community, and you look at what we finna spend, and you look what I read out. Now, if anybody can find out what anything I said on it is untrue, let me know, huh?
How is it biased if there's roughly 3 million split among each ward, except for Ward 4 and Ward 5? That's my question.
Okay. My problem with that is that the streets in the community and the neighborhood. Look what College Hill neighborhood is getting. Look where Carmichael Hill neighborhood is getting. Look what the streets there. But then you look at the street that you're doing Oak Street for one. That's parallel with Ward 3. You're doing Oak Street. You're doing South State Line. That's parallel with Ward 1. You're doing Forest Street. That's parallel with Ward 1. Won't you do, I would like to say, if I would have met with my constituents, I would have done street in the community, you know. And those streets that you got done for Ward 3, it's not streets in the community. And I think, and just like for instance, Mitchell Street, you got Hayes Street, that's in the community. You got Baden Street, that's in the community. You're not doing that street. And then you're doing Division Street, and that been taken before the Arkansas Highway Department, and trying to see, could that be a highway added on to a highway street, because part of that from East Street on back, that's part on Highway Street, and we was trying to get that going on through down there to Robert Street. So that would be another part of the street that could be added in and save the money. And that's what I'm saying. I just feel that we wasted $34,000, and like I said, in the streets in the community, I don't feel that my ward and the citizen in their neighborhood is not getting fair, adequate streets done.
Any other director? Any other comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Can you call the roll, please?
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollebush,
Yes.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes, we're adjourned.